Greetings everybody, it's Rob from the Stage Tower, and we're here with another Archetype Pathfinder 2E video. This one was going to be an interesting archetype, and this video is going to be talking about the Archer Archetype. Now, as always, these videos look at these archetypes not just for what they do, but how useful they could be for an overall campaign, just to kind of say, you know, in a campaign, would this archetype make sense for people to actually pick it up? So let's hop into the Archer Archetype. Now, the Archer dedication, which is the first one, you become trained in all simple and martial weapons in the bow category. Pretty much, it makes you trained in bows, and once you become expert in them, you gain the critical specialization effect with that bow. In most cases, you probably don't gain much from this because you probably are in a class that has some sort of training in bows to begin with. If you aren't, this allows you to be a bow user as a wizard, for instance, something along that lines. If you're doing that though, I question why you're picking the Archer archetype in the first place. So not much to say about this one. Once we get past that is when we get into the really big ones. So assisting shot. Now this one is a fighter feat. It's also an archer or sniping duo feat. And pretty much you interfere with a foe in combat. So you make a strike with your bow in this case. If the strike hits, the next creature other than you to attack the same target before the start of the next turn gains a +1 bonus. So essentially you shoot, you can hit someone, then the next person to hit that person gains a +1 to their roll, or +2 to crit. Overall, that's not bad. Essentially, especially if you're having like you and maybe like a melee type fighter up front, and you win initiative, you can kind of go first. Now it is a press, so that means you have to be under penalty to actually do it. Otherwise, overall, not too bad. Point blank shot was actually one that I was a bit surprised about when I saw it. And that was because I thought it was general feat at first, but it's not. It's an archetype feat specifically, or a fighter feat. So this one is a stance, and this means that you don't take the penalty when you attack within volley. In most cases, some bows have a volley trait of like 20 feet, 30 feet, and basically if you shoot someone in that 20, 30 feet close range, you get a penalty to it. In 1E, this eliminate the penalty. It was like a -4 to shoot in melee range, and this one is I think it's a -2 within 20-30 feet. If it doesn't have the volley trait, you gain +2 damage. This one might be pretty useful to take, only because depending on the encounters you're fighting, depending on the situations, you may not always have that 30+ feet space to actually take your shots in. So if you're using a weapon that has volley and you're fighting in tight-knit dungeons, you may want to take point blank shot. Otherwise, you may need to position yourself accordingly to deal with that. Quick shot. You draw your bow and attack with the same action. You interact, draw, and shoot. This is a pretty good one. If you don't need point blank shot, you can take quick shot. Especially if you're doing your archer stuff as kind of a side gig, so to speak. So to say you're using say you have a sword, you attack, you can then put your sword away and then quick shot well, I guess you can't, because it's an open. So maybe you take your sword, you attack, next turn you put the sword away, and then you quick shot to get the bow back out. So that allows you, if you're switching weapons, to be more useful. Other than that, if you're just going to be a bow like 24/7, not really needed in most cases. Advanced bow training. You gain proficiency with all advanced bows as if they were martial weapons in the bow. Say if there's an advanced bow that you specifically want to get, this would be the one that you would need to get trained in those. Simple enough. Crossbow terror. This one allows you to potentially make your crossbow do more damage. You gain +2 bonus to your damage with crossbows. And if it's a simple crossbow, which I believe the hand crossbow is, it allows you to increase the damage die size. I think it's a D6 for the hand crossbow, a D8 for the regular crossbow. It'll make your hand crossbows do a D8 instead. If you're doing crossbow, then yeah, definitely pick this one. That's pretty self-explanatory in that case. Double shot. 2 actions. Make 2 strikes, each against a separate target and with a -2 penalty. Both attacks count towards your multiple attack penalty, but doesn't increase until after you've made them. So basically, you take 2 shots at -2 at 2 different targets. Simple as that. So it makes your, instead of making one attack at like -0 and the other one at like -4, -5, it makes them both at -2. So pretty good if you want to shoot multiple shots, and I believe there's additional feats that will allow you to update that double shot as well. Next is Parting Shot. The Parting Shot is pretty much you step and make a ranged strike with the required weapon. So this is good for 2 reasons. If you're going to be attacked, like if you're being attacked in melee range, there's a lot of times when you read yourself a penalty, you can provoke an attack of opportunity, because technically I believe reloading, like interacting with your bow is actually can provoke in most cases. So it puts you into the opportunity. This allows you to make, for 2 actions, to step back, make the strike, and then make you flat-footed against that attack. Which, if you happen to be playing a class that gets sneak attack damage or precision damage, will allow you to do more damage as well from that one, from that shot as well. So in that case, if you're playing like a rogue and you have the Archer Archetype, that would be a really good combo to mix together. If you're not, you can risk it. In most cases, depending on if you have a good front line, you shouldn't be hit too often in melee range. And if you are, you just run to freedom. Take maybe a hit on the way out if you're risking it. So it's your choice. I will point out, you can see a lot of these feats that we've gone through are fighter feats. So if you're not a fighter trying to get into any of these archery feats, you need this dedication. So keep that in mind for those of you who are not playing a fighter but want to use bows, crossbows effectively. This could be a really good dedication for you. Running reload. Now here's my issue with running reload. For bows, it's useless. Since bows have a reload of 0, there's nothing to reload. It reloads automatically, basically. However, if you are using a crossbow or a firearm, you must take running reload. There's a reason it's a gunslinger feat. It's imperative. If you are using a crossbow, this feat should be on your list at level 6. No questions asked. I'm sorry. Being able to move and reload in one action saves you so much action economy. Gets you the ability to reposition yourself and reload your gun. It's overall, it's one of the best feats, in my opinion, in the whole game. You must take this feat. Staggering Fire. Now this is an uncommon feat. It's a Knights of Last Wall feat. So this one pretty much make a ranged strike with a weapon in the bow category. On a hit, the target takes a -5 to its speed, -10 on a crit. It's okay. I mean, I don't really see much need for it. Like, I wouldn't take it over running reload or parting shot or double shot. Like, it's cool flavor. I can see you like using it, like if an enemy's coming at you and you shoot them and it kind of slows them down. That would make sense. But like outside of that, like if someone asked me for this feat, I wouldn't oppose it. It's not that game breaking of it. So, Archer's Aim. 2 actions. Concentrate. You slow down, make a ranged strike with a weapon, +2 bonus to the attack roll, and you ignore the target's concealed condition, or if it's hidden, makes the DC down to a 5. This is good if you're trying to hit concealed targets. Hidden targets essentially allows you to really focus and get past someone in cover, someone hiding, someone kind of in concealment, someone in maybe like a obscuring mist or smoke. You can kind of just see through and shoot it that way. So this is actually a pretty useful feat. A lot of times you may be suffering from an enemy being in concealment. Maybe they're in dim light, maybe they're in obscuring mist, so forth. This allows you to not worry about those situations. Triple shot. This is the upgrade version of double shot. This allows you to make the attacks against the same target. You can also add an additional shot to make it 3 ranged strikes instead of 2. And this makes them all -4 instead. So you can go -4 and shoot all 3 shots at either different targets or against the same targets. You can just go boom, 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 and just continuously firing shots. This is the upgrade to double shot. If you take double shot, you may as well take triple shot. It gives you the option to either stack the 2 shots on the same target or do all 3 shots in the same time. So classic, I believe it was called multi-shot in 1E. It's a classic like ability. Again, fighter only, so if you're not playing a fighter, you need this Archer archetype if you want it to work. Mobile shot stance. While in the stance, your ranged strikes do not trigger attacks of opportunity or other reactions. If you have attack of opportunity, you can use it with a load of ranged weapon you're wielding. So this is good for a fighter, because what it means is a fighter who gets attack of opportunity naturally, they can use it to attack with their bow as an attack of opportunity. Otherwise, this allows you to not have to worry about taking attack of opportunity. So in this case, you wouldn't need like parting shot. However, do keep in mind that point blank shot is a stance as well. And then, so point blank shot is a stance, and then so is mobile shot stance. And then and you see down here, this one. So you can't be in all the stances at the same time. So keep that in mind, that if you're picking these different ones, you don't want to take 3 stances and realize you can't use them all at the same time. So multi-shot stance. Fighter stance. Triple shot. You lock yourself in a stable position, and this makes your penalty for double shot a -1 or -2 if you do the triple shot version. If you move from your position, this stance ends. So basically what this means is you lock down, you stay in the position, and then you can shoot 2 shots at the same time for -1 or 3 shots at the same time for -2. And if you're doing the double shot, triple shot, this is where your damage is gonna go pump through the roof. You'll be just firing flurry of arrows at targets. So if you go in this route, this is your like capstone big feat to take. If you're gonna go more of a mobile one, then you want to pick this one. Allows you to move around the field a lot more quicker, allows you to kind of really pick up the pace. Now, let's hop on back to the main screen for a moment to talk about this section. I was a bit surprised about this archetype, I will admit. The Archer feat line is actually pretty solid ones, and most of them are actually gatekeeped behind the fighter class. So if you are a martial type character and you want to use a bow, a crossbow, anything like that, I would definitely recommend picking up this dedication. It's a solid one, gives you solid uses. If your bow is going to be your main weapon, definitely pick it up. As far as campaign specifics, it's pretty much generally all combat based, so it can work for anything. Again, point blank shot is good if you're going to be in tight dungeons. That's the only one that's really kind of restrictive on space. Otherwise, I think this is a solid dedication. Like, many people don't take it because usually if you're going to be using a bow, I feel like you're playing a class that probably already has stuff that helps with it in most cases. But don't overlook, like, it doesn't sound as flashy, you know, it just says Archer. It's not like Zen Archer or like Sharpshooter Archer. It just says Archer, so it sounds boring. but it actually turns out to be one of the better dedications that we've seen so far on this list. Have any of you guys played with the Archer dedication? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you guys for watching this video.